We got some massive news for Rigetti Computing stock investors as the company's management team elaborated on insights into the development of its innovative quantum computing technology. But in addition to being big news for Rigetti Computing stock investors, it's also big news for the broader quantum computing stock market industry because the company revealed some insights that have implications beyond just the company's own performance. So I'm going to share those details with you here in this video and provide you those insights that the company's management team provided, including my analysis on those insights.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
So Rigetti Computing saying that they feel pretty confident that the chiplet approach with the 4 9-qubit chiplets sometime in the middle of this year and taking it over 100 qubits by the end of this year is going to work. All the data looks promising. So that's great news for Rigetti Computing stock investors. In a company like this, where you can essentially call it pre-revenue, even though they generated 1.5 million in revenue in the most recent quarter, that's only a very tiny fraction of what this company's revenue will be if they develop a commercially viable industry for its technology. So hitting milestones is the goal here for Rigetti Computing, and every milestone they hit is making it even more probable that they reach the end game, because every milestone they hit convinces investors of the potential for its technology. And every milestone they hit, investors, as they become more confident, will be willing to give the company more money and be more patient and allow them more time to develop this technology. They have very smart people on the team working to develop this technology. Some of the smartest people in the world, arguably, working on developing this technology. So if they have the capital, the support from investors, and time, it is reasonably likely that they will develop a commercially viable product. So the management saying that this is not just important for Rigetti, but it's important for the whole industry because this is the only way we see how you scale up the qubit counts. And scaling up the qubit counts is critical to developing this technology. So in some good news for the company, the NQI Reauthorization Act seems to have bipartisan support in their government, but the company still being cautious, saying that it's at least a couple of months now before we actually start seeing money flow out of the reauthorization bill. And it's important to notice that it hasn't passed yet. This is a bill that authorizes grant money for the quantum computing industry and for Rigetti Computing specifically. So Rigetti will be getting a nice chunk of money from this bill, but it hasn't passed yet. They expect it to pass because it has bipartisan support. But even after it passes, it'll be a few months before they start distributing money from that bill. But it's a nice tailwind for the company. It gives them a little more runway. They already have, at their most recent pace of cash burn, they have about 2 years of money on hand. And so if they get even more from this reauthorization bill, more government grants, that give them an even longer runway. And if it's in the form of grant, meaning free money for the company, of course, that's great news for investors because as a shareholder of the company, you're entitled to a piece of the company. And if the company just gets awarded, let's say, $200 million, then that's just $200 million for free coming to the company. That's, of course, great news as an investor because that increases your equity share in the business because the business becomes more valuable because it has $200 million more. By the way, this highlighted document I have made available for channel members. If you're not already a member, you can join using the link in the description. If you're already a member, check your membership benefits section for a link to the folder that contains this conference call highlighted transcript, as well as other highlighted transcripts for you to read and learn from. The company saying that their understanding is that more than 100 companies applied for the DARPA contract, and the government has chosen 15 companies within the superconducting camp along with Rigetti. It's IBM and HP and some other companies. And over the next 6 months, DARPA is going to announce the winners of the next phase, Plan B. So for Plan A, for Phase A, I should say, the government chose about 100 companies, and as part of being in this program, Rigetti got a small amount of money, maybe a couple of millions of dollars. But they see that as an opportunity because if they make it to the next phase, which is Phase B, that's going to be more capital. There's going to be fewer companies chosen, 15 reduced from the 100 that initially started. And so those 15 companies will each get more money than they got when money was awarded to 100 companies. So even though the first stage was not very meaningful for Rigetti, the second phase will be. And then if they make it even beyond that to Phase C, they'll get even more money. So this is a potential here, an opportunity that Rigetti is going after, and so far they've made good progress. So in order to reach that goal to pass to the next stage, they want to demonstrate chiplets. They want to demonstrate higher fidelity than they've done already in their current system. They've done 84 qubits with 99 to 95%, with 2 qubit gate fidelity. They want to bump that to over 100 qubits from 84, but using chiplets and bump the fidelity to between 95.5 to 99.7. That would be up from 99 to 99.5. So they know what they have to do to get from Phase A to Phase B. And Phase B, as I mentioned, is a more lucrative contract than Phase A. And of course, ultimately getting to Phase C is the company's goal. And being in that final group, you get a much larger contract opportunity. So eventually, in a year, year and a half, maybe 2 years from now, they expect maybe 1 or 2 companies are left in that process. So they started with, the government started with roughly 100 companies. They're reducing it down to 15 in Phase B, and then in Phase C, which will be in a couple of years from now, the company expects to be 1, maybe 2 companies left receiving the bulk of the government money from that DARPA contract. And of course, these contracts are huge for early stage development companies like Rigetti Computing, not only because it infuses the company with millions of dollars that gives it more time, but it also legitimizes the business in the eyes of investors and talented individuals. If you see the company getting these lucrative government contracts, as a scientist, you become more interested in joining the company because you feel more stable in your opportunity with the company. If you see the company has these deals, you say to yourself, okay, if I join this company, I'm likely to have an opportunity there for a few years. Whereas if they don't have it, then you might question joining the company because you don't know the prospects. It's a risky situation. They might run out of money and then you might be out of a job, right? Whereas if they have that government contract, scientists will be more attracted. Similarly, with investors, if you see the company has validated its process with an important government institution, you're more confident in giving the company money because they've already validated the process with another government institution. So overall, big news for Rigetti Computing stock investors. Certainly something you need to know about before you make your decision on buying or selling this stock. Hey everyone, I'm excited to announce that my book is finally available for sale. I've been working on it for more than a year now, so I'm really excited to finally share this with you now. It goes through my framework for evaluating stocks. Some of you often ask why I like this stock or why I like the other stock. And this framework provides you the things that I look at when I'm evaluating stocks. I've added the link in the description below.